week. Okay, I promise one of these days I will start the camera correctly. Hello, happy Motivation Monday, everybody. Hope you're having a good Monday and staying motivated. I can't believe it's almost March. Today's the last day of February. So thanks for joining live or on the replay. If you follow us at Elevage, you know we kind of like to, on Monday, motivate you guys, or at least try to, and share either our own struggles or tips for staying motivated or encouraging you. So today I'm going to recap my experience with the Stage 1 seminar, which was a couple weeks ago. And I also found a really awesome new tool, which I will share with you, which helped me at the seminar. And it's a great way to motivate your future self. But first things first, the seminar. Was it as intimidating as I thought it was going to be? Was it as intimidating as advertised or intense? Yes, it was definitely intense. Every day, Monday through Friday, was just packed with tastings and presentations and more tastings. And even during lunch, they had wines on the table for us to drink and discuss. And they had the various AVAs of Washington and somebody talking about what made those AVAs unique. So every moment was jam-packed with educational content, which was great, but very intense. And I understand why they did this, and I appreciate it because this is really primarily a self-study course, and this is one of our few opportunities as students to learn in person and ask questions and get feedback. So I'm thankful that they did it, but you know, I'd be lying if I said that was not an intense week. It reminded me a bit of my first week of law school, and I was 25 years younger then. So I had a lot more energy and stamina than I did at my age now. So you do the math. But yeah, it was a great week, but intense. So it was definitely as advertised. Let's see, the tastings, we had tastings every day. I think in my first live, I said there was going to be a 12 wines every day. I lied. The first day there was only 6, and then the rest of the time there was 12. But that was great practice because it kind of showed how quickly 2 hours and 15 minutes go by for tasting. You think that sounds like a hell of a long time, but it doesn't. And then you're kind of scrambling. Well, at least I was at the end on a lot of these because I was like, oh crap, I've got 4 wines to go in half an hour. But it was great practice and great feedback from MWs on that. So yeah, the tasting, I learned a lot. It reinforced the belief, which was great, that it is not all about nailing the wine. Obviously, it's great to get that wine right. It definitely, pat on the back, yay, you feel great about it. But the vast majority of marks are allocated to your arguments. And are they logical? And do they make sense? And if you misidentified the variety, did what you did say, does it make sense? And did you back it up? So I was really pleased to, that was reinforced that it's not all about nailing the wine. So that was great practice for that. It really helped me identify my weak spots and which styles of wine I need to work on. And that's helpful to know what your weak spots are. And throughout the whole week, we were kind of encouraged to embrace our weak spots, which is difficult because a lot of us like to study what we're comfortable with, and we like to study what we know, and we don't really want to venture into the stuff that makes us uncomfortable or that we don't know as much about. But those are the things that are going to trip us up on the exams. So I have my list of weak spots. It is not short, but that's what I'm planning to focus on for these next several months until the exam is what am I weak on? I can't go into exactly what the wines were because other stage 1 students are going to be getting the exact same wines, is my understanding. So I'm not going to say what they were or any of that stuff. And I actually think some of the stage 2 people got these wines as well. So you're in for a treat. Let's just say that. So let's see, weak spots, that was great. I've got those. I wanted to address, I got a question which from someone, and it makes sense, but I kind of wanted to nip it in the bud or quash it, so to speak. And the question was, it was about the seminar, and they asked, are the MWs intimidating and like deliberately intimidating? And I wonder if they used to be, but that kind of made me think of like a drill sergeant, one of those real a-hole drill sergeants that just are complete jerks to their troops. My personal experience was that the MWs, they were very nice. They were there to help me and give me feedback, which might come across as criticism. So I understand somebody might be like, ugh, I don't want to deal with you. But I did not feel like nobody was being deliberately intimidating. The material itself was intimidating. The vast amount of knowledge that some of these MWs have, that's intimidating and inspiring. But no, nobody was intimidating to me. And I suspect that other students had a similar experience. If you didn't, I'm very curious. Let me know. But yeah, I think you need to be open to receiving criticism. And obviously, I don't know anybody who likes receiving criticism, or feedback is the nicer way of saying it, feedback. So yeah, we took a mock exam, and then we had a half an hour assigned with an MW to let us know where we went right, but mostly where we went wrong, because we're newbies. Like we don't really know what we're supposed to be doing yet. So obviously the feedback might be more on the negative side, because we need to learn what to do. So the important thing is to not take it personally. And I tried not to, and I think I did pretty well, because it's not like they were making personal jabs at me. They were just saying, here's where you need to work on it. So yeah, the pace was intimidating. The material was overwhelming, but all the MWs that were really nice. And I definitely connected with a few that were just super awesome and gave great advice. So the toughest thing for me overall really was stamina. And I think I mentioned that in my first live, was just seeing the schedule itself. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And turns out I didn't. So a little bit about that. I know myself, and I know that I push myself really hard, because that's just what I do. And sometimes I push myself too hard and I'm getting diminishing returns on things. So, maybe I'm going down a rabbit hole, or I've just spent way too long on a question, and my brain's just not working very much anymore, and the time I'm spending is not efficient. So diminishing returns on that. So the tool that I mentioned at the beginning is called, and I'll put it in the comments here when I post the video, it's futureme.org, and you can essentially send yourself an email, a personal email, and you can write whatever you want, and you can schedule it for whenever you want at some time in the future. And I did that before I left for the MW seminar, and I decided I'm going to just motivate myself mid-seminar, because I will probably be feeling inadequate, or I might be feeling overwhelmed. So I did that, and then mid-seminar, I got this email from myself. I'd actually kind of forgotten about it, and I had some great advice for myself. So I read it in the morning, and later that day, after a full day of tasting and a full day of presentations, I was tired and I was exhausted, and there was another hour and a half of this walk around tasting, and I opted out of it. And that was part of the advice I'd actually given my future self, was, hey, if you are feeling spent, just take the night off. you're not required to do all of this stuff. And if you're getting diminishing returns, just take a break and take care of yourself. And I think it's important whenever we have a major goal, a lofty goal, we do want to push ourselves, obviously, but we also want to take care of ourselves. And it is a great motivational tool. We just want to, if you don't take care of yourself and give yourself a break, you're not going to be able to keep moving forward. So I was glad I took that night off. I went for a walk. I got room service and watched reruns of Friends, which I haven't watched in forever. And then the next day I was re-energized and I was totally able to finish off the seminar. So I plan on using that tool, futureme.org, not just throughout my MW studies, but just life. If you know you have a difficult day coming up, maybe you have a presentation, or maybe you have a difficult talk with somebody, I don't know, or maybe you're nervous of flying and you want to send yourself a motivational thing the day that your flight takes off. Just write it and it'll be delivered to your future self. So I think that's pretty awesome. So yeah, overall, I think I got a lot out of the seminar. I was a sponge and I just soaked up as much as I possibly could. And I feel like I've got a much better idea of how I want to spend my next, so let's see, March, April, May, June, exams at the end of July. So like almost 5 months. I have almost 5 months to study, and I feel like I'm going to be studying smarter now than I did from fall until now. So, if you are attending the seminar upcoming, yes, it is intense. Yes, there are some sneaky effing wines in those flights. But you learn a lot, and don't be afraid to take some time off too. I have absolutely no FOMO for not going to that tasting because my palate was just shot. And so I was done. Give yourself permission to take the night off if you want to do that. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of hit the road here over the next few months, but I also know myself and I can't put the pedal to the metal from now until the end of July. For me, it needs to kind of be a steady build. So I'm going to get going here and do some tastings with my local friend who is also in the MW program. Hi, Tim, if you're watching this. So he and I are going to get together and do that and start working on some of those theory questions. And then I'll jump back on here probably next month. If you're interested in joining in on the fun, applications open in May. And the IMW website is usually very thorough with the application process. But I will be talking about my personal experience. And again, I'm just one person and I'm new, but I will tell you what worked for me. And if you're interested in joining, then maybe tune in then, or my DMs are always open if you have questions about, what the process was like to apply. There's a lot of statements that they want you to make and your work history and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll talk about that next month, and hope everybody's doing well. Hope your studies are going well, and hope you are taking care of yourself and giving yourself a break when you need it, because I did. And so I like to take my own advice sometimes. I'm really good at giving advice, but sometimes I'm not good at taking it. So I'm proud of myself for taking my own advice. You are so welcome. And I hope to see you guys soon. Have a great week, and take care. Take care of yourself. You got this. See ya.